everyone! It's Ms. Kelly at the Keller Public Library. Welcome to Cursive Crash Course Online. You're probably here because you've registered for our class and picked up a supply bag like this. If you haven't picked up your supply bag, please give us a call at the library. We'll get it to you. If you haven't registered for this course, but you'd still like to learn more about Cursive over the next 4 weeks with us, you can. But I do recommend that you purchase a workbook. The one we're using in our class looks like this, the Complete Cursive Handwriting Workbook for Kids, and it's available on Amazon for I think about $8. Or as an alternative, you could find some free printable cursive handwriting worksheets online and print them for yourself. The best way to learn cursive is to copy and to trace, so you probably need a workbook of some kind in order to get started. Now I know your supply bag looks really fun and you probably want to rip it open and see all the wonderful things inside, but please for now just push it off to the side, out of sight, because we don't need it yet. We will use it today, but after our first lesson, which is what is cursive? You don't need to take notes or use anything from the bag yet. Please just listen and look. Here we go. Before we start lesson 1, I wanted to give you a preview of how the course will be scheduled. So today we're going to have an introduction to cursive writing, and I'm going to show you how to use your workbook to learn the formation of each of the 26 letters of the alphabet. Next Saturday, we'll begin writing words, and you'll start practicing how to write your name in cursive. On Saturday, October the 17th, we'll begin moving away from the learning portion and moving more toward the practicing and really perfecting your cursive handwriting. And on October 24th, there's a little bonus lesson on calligraphy, and we'll also have a little graduation ceremony for all of you Cursive Crash Course graduates. So let's start lesson 1. What is cursive? If you don't know, cursive is a style of writing, and it's sometimes called script or handwriting, and it features curved lines, loops, and connected letters. Maybe you've already learned a little bit about cursive. That's okay. Keep watching, and in the course you'll learn tips and tricks for how to perfect your cursive and make it really neat and very special. Okay, here I have descriptions of 2 different kinds of writing, and let's see what we can come up with about a label for each of these. So this kind of writing has curved lines, it's slanted, it has connected letters, and it's decorative. What does that sound like? Versus a style of writing that has straight lines, it's upright, the letters are individualized, and it's fairly plain. Well, this is easy. You already know this. I don't want to stress you guys out on Saturday with really difficult questions, but that is print, right? This is what you already use most of the time. Straight lines, up and down writing, individual letters, and a plain style. But what we're going to learn is cursive. Cursive has the curved lines. It's slanted. Well, not really. I'm not at a good angle here. And it's more decorative. So those are the differences between the 2 writing styles, and that's what we're going to focus on developing. These things. How do we do these things? So you know what cursive writing is. We've talked about how it's different from print, but why should you take the time to learn cursive writing? Well, there are many reasons to learn cursive writing. I don't know if you believe me yet, but it's going to be slow going to learn cursive, but once you're good at cursive, cursive will actually enable you to write faster, more quickly. And that is because it's connected and because it's looping and flowing. This can be really useful for you later in your education if you're in a college class or maybe even a high school class and your professor is talking really fast. If you know cursive, you can write down notes faster and then you'll learn better. Cursive writing can also develop our fine motor skills and even our brain. When we're learning cursive, we're developing neural connections that are new in our brain and we're actually getting smarter. Also, cursive can help us appreciate historical documents. For example, do you know what document this is? This is the Constitution of the United States, and as you've learned in history and social studies, this is a very important document. And the title here is calligraphy, but the body of the Constitution, it's written in cursive. And if you don't know how to read cursive, if you're not familiar with the formation of cursive letters, you wouldn't be able to read the as it was originally written. So it's a good thing to learn cursive. And finally, but I like cursive mostly because it's kind of artistic and it's fun. Like, I'm not great at drawing necessarily, but I'm really good at cursive writing. So hand lettering and calligraphy and other things like that are really fun, and cursive is a good beginning to get into those things. So let's learn some cursive, guys. Okay, there's all kinds of supplies in here for lesson 1. We'll use all of these things today. You have your workbook, of course. This is going to be used in each of the lessons, so you'll need it for the entire course. I've also given you this, which is some practice writing paper, a dry erase marker, and an eraser. So what is this for? So this is for a way to prolong your workbook pages. I'm going to assign you workbook pages each week, and if you would like to, what you can do is tear the worksheet out of the workbook, put it inside this page protector, and use your dry erase marker to practice it, because this way you will get more use out of that page. So you can erase it and do it as many times as you like, right? So that will make your workbook last longer. And then when you feel really ready to go ahead and mark on it, just pull it out and then use your pencil, okay? And then you'll have a really neat worksheet because you've already practiced it several times. And that's just a way to get more use out of your workbook. So there's that. You could use that to practice, or you could just use the pencil if that's not comfortable for you to use. The other thing I'm going to assign you to do this week is to work on memorizing the letter formations with your paint bag. So we were just working on a capital B. I can also write the capital B with my paint bag, either with my finger or with my Q-tip. And that will help me practice those strokes so that I can begin to remember them and memorize them for when I need to write them without copying or without tracing. So this is just kind of a fun way. Each week I'm going to give you sort of a traditional way to exercise with a worksheet, but also sort of a more fun, sensory way to practice cursive too. And hopefully you'll enjoy doing that and will make learning and memorizing more fun. Before we look at how the individual cursive letters are formed, let's discuss your posture. Posture is just the way that you hold your body, the position you put your body in. And having good posture will improve your cursive. So first thing I'd like you to try is to make sure that when you're writing, you're sitting at a surface upright that has a table in front of it. This is not something that you can practice lying on your stomach on the floor, you're not going to be as good at it if you do it that way. So sit at a table or a desk and keep your back straight. If possible, put your feet on the floor, touching the floor. What you might not be used to with printing is that you will need to be having your paper tilted a little bit when you're writing in cursive. That's going to help give you the slant on your letters that you need. So tilt the paper to about 45 degrees. Remember, this is 90 degrees, an L, and then halfway between that and flat is 45 degrees. So this is the slant you want for your writing. Now, of course, this only applies to right-handed people. So lefties, listen up, a couple of tips for you. Move your paper over to the left side of your body and don't tilt it as much. This is going to help you see the letters as you form them better. And when you're using a pencil, make sure that's very sharp and that the lead is hard, because if you have a softer pencil, you're going to have that smear when you drag your hand across it. So lefties, try those things and they may help you a little bit better. You'll also want to make sure that you can see, okay? We don't want you writing in the dark. Make sure you have nice lighting so you can see how your letters are coming and if they're straight and if they're inside of the lines. Hey, you know how to sit? What position to put your body in? So let's learn how each of the letters A to Z is formed. You may want to skip this portion of the video if you have already learned the cursive alphabet. If you know all of your letter formation and you don't feel the need to review it, skip ahead and get to the homework. But if you've never done cursive before, or if you want a refresher, this part is for you. We're going to start with A and end with Z. Here we go. Okay, here's your workbook. The workbook has several different sections, and the first section is about letter formation. So the first 26 pages are every letter from A to Z. Okay, here's our A, and if you look closely, you can see that it has arrows and numbers. The arrows are going to show you which direction to take your pen, and the numbers are going to tell you what order to make the strokes in. So A has 2 strokes. The first is a downward stroke to make the circular part of the A, and then the second is another downward stroke to make the tail that will connect to the next letter. So watch me form the letter A. I form the circular part of A and then the stem. Capital A. Lowercase is just the same, half as big. Circle, stem. That's A. Let's look at B. B is 4 strokes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just follow the arrows and the numbers. Lowercase b, 1, 2, 3. Little b is a bridge letter. That means it has a little smile on the end that's going to connect it to our next letter. Moving to C. 1 easy stroke, C, for big and little c. D is a little tougher. We have 3 strokes. 1, 2, 3. Little d, 2 strokes. 1, 2. Moving on to E. 2 strokes. Top half, bottom half. Little e, 2 strokes. 1, 2. Let's talk about F. F's a challenge. We're going to make 1 stroke as the center, give it a tail, a roof, and a crossing. Little f, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's move on to G. Capital G can be tough. 4 strokes. 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks different. Little g, 1, 2, 3. H, 1, pick up the pencil, 2, 3. That's one of the few that you've got to pick the pencil up on. Little h, 1, 2, 3. I, they make theirs different than I do. I do mine like this. 1, 2, 3. And then little I, 1, 2, 3. When we're learning words, we'll see that I is a finish later letter because you're going to have to wait till the end of the word to dot your I. J, 1, 2, 3. Little j, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Let's do K. 1, pick up the pencil, 2, 3. Little k, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we are at L. 1, 2, 3. My marker didn't make that first part of my 1. And then little L, easy. Easy, you can do that one. M and N can be tough for you guys because they seem to have extra humps. So M, big M, 1, 2, 3. That's like a regular M that we're used to making. But look at little m. 1, 2, 3. That's because that is connecting it to the other letter. So N is 1, 2, and 1, 2. O is probably pretty familiar looking. It just has a little fancy hat on it. That's big O and little o. Another bridge letter. Let's do P. 1, 2, 3. Little p, 1, 2, 3, 4. P. Q is pretty familiar probably. Q, big Q is like an O with a tail. Little q is 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of like a backwards P. R is next. 1, 2, 3, 4. Little r is probably my favorite cursive letter to make. 1, 2, 3. It's like a little hill or mountain. S is fun. It goes all around, loop-de-loop. 1, 2, 3. And little s, 1, 2, 3. Big T is 1, 2. Little t is 1, 2, 3. Let's do U. 1, 2. Little u, it's kind of like M and N with a little extra 1, 2, 3. Kind of looks like a W, but we'll see it's different than W. Here's V, another bridge letter. Oh, that was just little v. Okay. Here's big V. 1. That wasn't hard. W. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Little w. 1, 2, 3, 4. Another bridge letter. I also really like to make X. They do theirs different, but I do it like this. 1, 2. 1, 2. That's fun. Almost done, you guys. Let's do Y. 1, 2, 3. Bring it back up there to connect it, like a little ball of yarn. 1, 2, 3. My marker's giving me trouble again. And then Z. This one's pretty tricky. I don't think it really looks much like a regular printed Z. We go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That's tough, huh? All right, that's A through Z. You ready for homework? Here we go. You did it! You learned how to form all 26 letters. And now it's time to practice them. Like I told you before, there's no shortcut to learning cursive. You have to practice, and that's why I'm giving you homework. But hopefully you'll have fun doing your homework. So this is the most homework you will ever have in this class, and that's because this week we're really working on learning the letters. So what I want you to do is I want you to do all 26 letter pages, A through Z. Now remember, when you're doing your workbook pages, you can use the pencil and do right on the workbook, or if you want to practice each page more than one time, slip it into your page protector and use your dry erase marker to go through it once, and then do the pencil when you feel more comfortable. A word about using this eraser. I don't want you to erase your mistakes, because this is cursive practice. You are supposed to make mistakes in your practice. And if you erase every time you make a mistake, you're going to spend all of your time erasing. So leave the mistakes, okay? Leave the wobbles, leave the wiggles, leave the little lines that go over the edge. It's okay, because what is going to happen is every time you write that letter, you're going to be improving. And I want you to be able to see how wiggly and wobbly your cursive letters were at the top of the page, and how much better, straighter, and neater they are at the end of the page. So don't spend all of your time erasing, okay? Your other homework assignment is to use the paint bag to practice forming the letters so that you're starting to memorize all of the strokes you need in cursive, and then you will be able to close your eyes and form the letters by the end of the week. Can you do it? Well, if you'd like to send me some of your practice and get some advice or suggestions, or even just some praise and encouragement for your hard work, you can snap a photo of it and send it to my email address. Please ask your grown-up first if that's okay. My email address is kholt@cityofkeller.com, KHOLT@cityofkeller.com. I had a lot of fun today introducing you to cursive, and I'm really looking forward to next week's lesson on words and names. So I'll see you next Saturday at 2. Bye!